small little screen at the top, so I don't know what's going there, but anyway, it's all good. Well, good afternoon. I can't see myself. I can. I'm why am I make myself a little bit bigger? Why am I click that? Nothing happens if I click that. Let's see if I click that one. No, nothing happens. Oh, hello, nothing happens there either. Hello, everybody. I'm not sure what's happening, but welcome to my little hour with you. Can you hear me okay? Oh, yes, that's what I see. That's what I've got. I've got seen me as a host. So if you're here, hello. If it's just me, hello me and hello Rich. Um, this is our little Saturday afternoon. I didn't do it for night game, and if we're just doing an hour today because I've got a little charity night to do tonight, and it means that I need a bit long to get. Oh, Desiree, hello. Well, someone here to talk to. Talk to me, lovely. What should we talk about? This is our little, and Christine Davis. Hello, darling. I'm loving your avatar. I'm loving your pretty picture. And we're hello, Sarah English. Loving little bow. Little bow. So now that Julie says a few of us here, well, that's nice. We can have a chat on Saturday afternoon. So we've got an hour this afternoon, so we can chat about whatever you want. Any questions you've got. I am a bit of a maverick. If you haven't seen me work or heard me chit chat, Rich is really lovely. He lets me talk about whatever I want for as long as I want, and I can get a bit off the wall, and I can go down the old rabbit hole. And hello, Michelle. I am very well, actually. Thank you, Michelle. I'm looking forward to tonight. I'm doing a little show. I'm actually seeing public people tonight. I'm doing a little show tonight. So I'm working tomorrow night in public. So I've 2 nights in public. So I'm really quite enjoying it. Looking forward to that. It's Sarah Jane. Hello, Sarah Jane. We love Sarah Jane. Know Sarah Jane really well. Sarah Jane's one of my little regulars over on my Facebook place. So yeah, anything you want to chat about? I got I did yoga the other day. I got sore shoulders. Hi, Alison. How you doing, my darling? We chatted to you the other night. I think it was you. We were talking about the Q&A night, weren't we? So this is our little Q&A and chit chat. Anything you want to talk about, really? I'll talk about some stuff. I've got a bit of news. How am I connect more with spirit? My spirit guides. Good question, Desiree. First of all, if you set the intention of the first. Let's backtrack. There's a few questions there, Desiree. So let's start with the first question. You said, how may you more connect with spirit? Well, the first question is, what's the most important spirit you'll ever connect with? Well, it's yourself. So if you can't connect with your own spirit, you're kind of buggered when it comes to link with other spirits and spirit guides, because it's not your brain that's going to connect with spirit. We have to get that brain out of the way. We have to get that conscious chattering mind out of the way. And if you study yoga does it brilliantly with something called pranayama, pranic breathing. But it's about shutting down that conscious mind of ours. That's the first step, because unless you can connect with your own spirit can't. Your own spirit might always be connected with the spirit world, but unless you connect with yourself and let yourself be free to be its own spirit, its own you, your brain can't. You see, if you see some mediums work, they get very grabby. They use their brain. You can't use your brain for mediumship. So the first step, Desiree, is to get in touch with your own spirit, and you do that by sitting in the quiet. Not so much meditation. You can be done through meditation, but it's quieting that conscious mind down, quieting the body down. I do a lot of morning meditation every morning over my Facebook page, Desiree, and it's exactly that. It's about quieting the conscious mind down, getting it out of the way. Remember, your spirit knows its job, and our job is to get out of the way so it can do its job. And then when it's about connecting with spirit or spirit world, then it just happens naturally. Mediumship, I was always taught, and I now teach, that mediumship is easy. We make it difficult, we get in the way. It's the most natural process, because all of us are mediums, because we've all got half a step in spirit. We all come from spirit. We are all incarnate spirit. So therefore, it would make sense we can all do it. So it all comes down to you, Desiree. Where are you in your life? What are you doing? How are you feeling? And how much can you get out of the way? And the spirit guides, if you're saying, I want to meet my guides, well, you can, but they're there. If it's really important you meet them, then they will come to you. Can you still hear me? Because I've got a thing come up with. Okay. Oh, okay. So I had a horrible thing just come up. So then once you're sitting with you in your own, what's called your own power, and you're linking with spirit, well, then your spirit guides may or may not appear to you. But your soul, your spirit doesn't need to know who your spirit guides are. It's that the ego. And I don't mean you're egotistical, but I must know who my guides are. Well, why? Do you really think they're physical? I mean, the guy that I work with, I ignore him most of the time, bless him. And by the way, Desiree, I tell you what I do very seriously, but I'm a bit petulant. You know, I was when I first heard all about the guides, I was going, for their spirit energy, it don't need to be physical. And I got a bit petulant. And my main guide, he came to me as like a greasy waiter once. Then he came to me as an Asgard from something called SG1. And he called himself Avi Asgard. He was just taking the mickey out of me. And then one day he came as this, I mean, gorgeous, very tall, black Maasai, I mean, deep, gorgeous, I mean, like, oh, gorgeous. And I went, oh, you're the. And he said, I said, oh, yeah. He said, well, I said, it was a Maasai warrior. And I said, what's your name? Said, what do you want to call me? I went, I'll call you Mike. It's okay, I'm Michael. Oh, as in the archangel, yeah, if you like. So it doesn't matter to them what we call them, Desiree. It doesn't matter, you know, if they're there. And you can then another token of discussion is whether our guides are actually an extension of us anyway, and that they're that spiritual part of us in spirit. I'm not sure about that yet. The jury's out on that for me. But that's how I would suggest it. You've got to sit in the quiet. If you want to message me, Desiree, I've got a free CD up on SoundCloud. You can play it, and it's called Everyone's a Medium. It just gets you to sit in the quiet and then link with your own spirit and then the spirit world. Or you can just join the meditation anymore you wanted to, Desiree. But that's it, really. Okay. But it comes down to getting your mind out of the way and quieting your brain and quieting that physical body down. But thanks for the question, Desiree. It was a nice question. Connect from the soul, not ego. Well, yeah, and it's not egotistical. It's from the mind. It's the conscious chatting on that you know wants to think it's eternal. It's not the conscious mind. Everything about the mind is physical. Everything is physical. You know, everything about the brain is physical. Yeah, but thank you, Desiree. It was a lovely question. That was lovely start to the afternoon. And what's the next one? Well, I had some come with a lovely avatar, beautiful pattern. Hi, Veronica, loving that, loving your avatar. Very, very, very deep. I like that a lot. What books are good to read with being spiritual? Hi, Christine. The book I always suggest straight away is a book called The Celestine Prophecy by James Redfield. You wouldn't call it a spiritual awakening book, but it is. It's a very light-hearted, it's a very light read. It's a novel, and it's back in the 80s, I think. And it's the story of a journalist who gets pulled to Peru in search of his ancient spiritual insights, and that's a great start. Because I just said to Desiree, the most important step you ever take about becoming more spiritual or your spiritual awakening is for you. So that's the book I always, if anyone ever comes to me saying, I want to be a medium, I want to be a psychic, I want to be this, I always say, read the Celestine Prophecy and get a feeling how you are. So it talks about things like control dramas, how people control our emotions and control our energy, and how we give it away, and then how we should be living our life, how we feel energy. It's a wonderful book. So that's the book I would always recommend. After that, I'd say to people, you know, whatever rocks your world, whatever pulls you, whatever calls you. But that book is always my go-to foundation for people. Thank you, Christine. What a lovely question. Oh, right. Let me have a glass of water. So, Becs, do you have any friends outside? Sarah and I have spoken about this. Do I have any friends outside the spiritual family? No, you're going to change. I mean, obviously, with my trans journey, I lost a lot of friends, but I don't have a lot of friends. I'm not saying that's poor me, but you know my situation. So I live in a beautiful little bubble. Not being here, but I live in a little bubble on my own at the end of Sun's Land, and I had lunch from so, which is lovely. I go out and do my mean trip. Love all that. But I think people won't get it. I think especially you, Sarah, and I talk about you personally because I know your story because we've spoken about it. Was when you told them, you said I can share this story. Sarah's story was she after the first lockdown, and Sarah found our community, and has grown so much and awoken. I hate that word, awoken, but you really found a spiritual path, and then you bump into old friends or you go out with old friends and. It's not they just don't get you. You don't get them. You know, we can mirror it and say it's they don't get us, but we don't get them anymore. So we look at them not from a position. I don't in any way mean like superiority or look at them in a sympathetic way. We don't. They're just different because we see life now so differently. Just do. There's not the attachments that you thought you once had. The expectations are different. The way you love is different. You still get sucked into stuff. That's I've just been sucked into something recently. You get sucked into something, but a lot of the time we rise above it, and that means your friends go, you're talking about things, and they'll go, what do you mean? Yeah, So I'm not saying you lose them as friends, Sarah, but what happens is, like, and I know from you play, you're in our community quite a lot. Other people come along. Doesn't mean you lose your oldest friends. It just changes, because it has to, because you're not the same person. By that I mean you're not the same emotional person, because your energetic you, the eternal you, is more prevalent, is more pronounced. So we see things differently. We see a sunrise differently. We see pretty much everything differently. Doesn't mean you don't enjoy the physical, but things that become important, things that trigger others, you go like, well, that's not going to trigger me. I think it was something the other night on the group, some troll came in. Yeah, whatever. It doesn't. So you've grown, basically, Sarah. And so do I have friends that have the spiritual family? Yeah, I mean, I have a few friends, but I don't see a lot. I mean, my brother's my best friend, and he's really still on the fence about this, but we chat about it. He gets me. Obviously, he's my brother. But yeah, I think also, I think you find, Sarah, as you become more spiritual, I think you lose a lot of friends. I don't mean that, oh no, poor me, you get lonely. It's not that. It's the opposite. Sometimes you find you probably like your own company even more. I like that, Sarah. Thank you. Sarah's lovely, by the way. And when she came to a workshop, and we had some wonderful overshadowing going on. Hi, Trace 11A. Trace 11A. Hello, no photograph. I don't know, you're Trace 11A. Oh, maybe that's what's classroom at school. Don't know, but hello. Yeah, there you go. So Desiree recommends a book called The Road Less Travelled. Haven't read it, but see, I always say to people is that if you get a recommendation of a book, try it. If it resonates with you, fantastic. If it doesn't resonate with you, that's why, well, you might put it online. Buy Kindle. I think, is it any cheaper on Kindle? Don't know. I can't remember. I bought Kindle. Amazon messed up my Kindle account, so I don't have a Kindle now. Han has asked, when will I can get info from guides? If you don't join, well, see, I can't tell. I did meditation yesterday. I actually did my meditation this morning. When I don't, if you wish to journal. But remember, it's because it's not in the long-term memory. It's going to be a fleeting. It's going to be a fleeting. It's going to be a fleeting experience, isn't it? Because it's depending on what sort of meditating you do, Han. That might be Hannah, so I'll call you Han. The information resonates or encodes it. I know it's a bit of a deep word. Encodes in you, not so much in your brain. So it doesn't make you forget it. It's in there. It's in there. It's been like when I've done the spirit medicine. I've done ayahuasca quite a lot, and the madre, the medicine, is in you. It doesn't make you've gone to the toilet. The medicine's in you forever. So if you've done a meditation and you've got something from your guide on a spiritual level, energetic level, then it'll be there. Just gets stay in the mind. So by making a journal, that's for the physical part of you. Great, yeah. But that you forget it, yeah, you haven't really, because it's in there. What you've taken. But sometimes, though, what we take from meditation, we need to integrate and process into our physical experience, and then we don't. But then you'll probably know, if you do, from what you're saying, you seem to do quite a lot of meditation, from the way you've written. So if you do a lot of meditation and you want to think, oh, that is for my physical experience. That is for me to integrate into my emotional day. Remember, when I talk about the energetic you, the spiritual you, that is different from the emotional and physical experience you're having now. Because the healing that sometimes you need can be, the therapeutic healing you sometimes need, is of a physical and emotional nature based from a soul perspective. Oh, get a bit deep, aren't we? Because you're carrying stuff that doesn't use. The soul goes, well, I've learned that. What have I learned? I've learned I can let that go now. And the soul's trying to say to you, it's okay to move along. So what often happens in meditation, Han, possibly with you, is that they're saying to you, but your guides or yourself, or whoever you meet on your journey, is going, right, we've learned that now. Your brain, as much as it's processing it, we don't need it anymore. We can let go of it. Yeah. So the whole thing of writing things out. I mean, I don't journal as much as I should. I journal. I journal when I go on the spirit medicine journeys, because I think that's quite intense. That's a whole night journey usually. So I make notes of that a lot of the night. But I don't. I've never personally journaled through meditation. So maybe I should have done. But it's whatever feels right, Han. Like that a lot. But it all goes in there, Han. All goes in there. Thank you. I like that. Meditation. Yes, what we're talking about, water time. And that's the thing with, remember, what spirit love about us is that we're all different. We are unique. So whether you're just developing or awakening to make, hello, Beth, or whether you're just awakening for you. Remember, we're meant to be living, without quoting the Bible, heaven on earth. We're meant to be energetic spiritual beings having a physical experience. What's gone wrong? Well, what's gone wrong is those in control have tried to detach us from our higher self, from altered states of linking with ourselves. If you think about it, you can go and get pissed on Saturday night and drink. Hi, Pamela. And go and get drunk legally on stuff that is that basically comatoses you. You can smoke industrial changed tobacco that's going to kill you because it's got all the drugs in it, but you're not allowed to take a medicine or a plant that will link you with your own high consciousness. It's all a bit crazy, really. I don't mean hardcore cocaine, so I just mean medicine. So it's all a bit weird. Or things like, if you, and respectfully to religion, there's that divide and conquer. You can only get to God, you only get to your own high consciousness through the church. No, it's never been that way. We all can link to our own high consciousness, and so coming back to what, sorry, I've got a little fuzzy thing. Coming at what someone was just asking about is about just linking. Where's that come from? It's about linking with ourselves first before we can link with spirit, and then once you link ourselves, then we link with spirit, and it all falls into place. Oh, a bit intense, wasn't it? Oh, hi Pamela, I love that picture behind you. Is that actually a photograph? That's a lovely drawing. I love that. It's very nice, Pam. Was it Pamela? So it'd be called. I don't know. No other questions? Well, I'm going to talk for a bit then, because I can talk. What I will mention is how the universe is, how things are changing. I don't know if you've noticed the change in the energies, especially this year during the lockdown. And a lot of people spoke about this year being transitional change and how much is changing and continues to change. And I think what Sarah alluded to was about this whole thing of how much people are changing in relation to others. I mean, you've got it on a physical level. If you look at America, how families turning its families because of Trump. There you go, Sarah. Absolutely, yeah, you said it exactly, Sarah. You see, what we should be looking at life from. We should really be looking at life from an intuitive perspective, where our intuition is, if you like, our junction box between spirit and physical. But that should work in conjunction with the process, the conscious mind. The conscious process that can make sense, hi Joan, of what's going on, but it hasn't. We've been trained, we're programmed, especially what's going on now. We're programmed to not even feel our emotions. Look at kids; they can't even have no connection at school. They're being taught to, and for whatever reason, I'm not going down any rabbit holes, but they're being taught not to be emotional. They're being taught not to connect with it. It's becoming more and more just about the brain, just about the cognitive. I saw something from China where the kids have these headbands on in schools, and the teacher can see if they're working or not. So it all becomes we're being more and more not just encouraged but led down the path of not being led by our intuitive higher self in this physical experience. And that's why when people like Sarah Jane do go, oh blimey, this is the most natural thing in the world, people around you can't deal with it, because they can't deal with it. Because their brains are trying to process what you're sharing and going, well, actually, isn't this more important? And they can't deal with it. If you just say to someone, well, actually, your own happiness is your definition, and as soon as you put your happiness into whether you've got a 50-inch telly or an 8-inch TV, because you're encouraged to pay more for a TV, well, that's when they won't get it, because they've bought into, or they've been programmed into the whole, what makes you happy is the more you've got, the more you need, the more you want. And that's where it goes. And then Sarah Jane, you suddenly find a place going, actually, yeah, we need. I've got a nice car. My car's a 15-year-old Rover. I love it to pieces, but it's a nice car. But it's not a new car. I don't need a new car. So I hope that made sense as we were talking, everybody. It's finding what makes you happy, and happiness is a personal definition. And there's a great quote came up on Facebook of not just about being nice. If you're waiting to be told you're nice, or what you did was nice, you're probably not nice, because you do nice things, you'll do nice things. And it's that happiness. You find your own personal happiness for you. No one can, I'm on a roll here, aren't I? No one can make you happy. No one. Because the minute you let someone control your happiness, they control you, and they leave, they take your happiness. You can share your happiness, you can share your joy, you can share your bliss, but it's got to come from inside first. And that's then you come back to what Desiree was talking about, connection with spirit. That comes because you connect to the higher source. When you connect to the higher source and to spirit, there comes the flow of unconditional love. You're a vehicle of unconditional, and you can then give it. Receiving it, different trip altogether. I'm not too good at that one, but I'm working on that. So yes. Well, hello, Joan. How are you doing? Got 2 kisses on that. Hello, Michelle. Roger, nice. That's nice. Oh, I'm going to look over this way because you're sideways. Hello. Very nice photograph. Okay. I'm going to run out my glass of water, so I'm going back to my water here. Oh, with no questions. No more questions? Well, in that case, I'm going to talk for a minute. So I'm going to share something with you all. I don't know how many viewers are watching, but I've got an upgrade. I was given it. So I'm sure it's right moment me mentioning this because I do readings of personal sittings, but very, very rarely. I don't get a lot of chance for them. I've never charged for them. Got a crazy waiting list, and that was my mediumship, my psychic work. And I won't bore you how it's all come about, but through a friend of mine, through an evening I spent online with someone, and then through a reading I got through my mentor. And so I was thinking, I'm actually taking readings to in a different direction. I'm going to start doing what is being called, it was given to me by spirit, recreation readings, and that's going to involve therapeutic work on not on a soul level, but on a physical, emotional, and psychological level. So it won't be counselling, but it will come from your soul's perspective. It'll be, what does your soul want to say to you? It will involve mediumship. So let's say you had a rotten relationship with your mum might come in. That's where we start some healing. So it's going to be very healing. So I'm starting those. I'm just putting the ideas together now, but it's going to be something very different. I've had so much interest. It's been amazing. And spirit actually said, I'm going to not do many, because it's going to involve like 3 hours of work for me for every person. I'm going to spend an hour getting in the zone, getting to feel your energy, an hour's consultation, and then 45 minutes an hour afterwards. So and it's something I am going to have to charge for, but not a lot. Maybe only £1,000. I'm joking, obviously joking. But I've done a couple of practice ones, and a couple of things happened online where it really just got so intense, and it's almost like people saying they needed this. And how it was explained to me, I'm going to share it with whoever's watching, is that, and I do mediumship readings all the time. I'm doing them tonight, and I do one-to-ones. But it was basically, if you give someone a mediumship reading, it's like giving them a brick, and that's wonderful. Their dad's come through, they've got a brick, there's something solid, yeah. And their mum might come through another day, give them another brick, and over a period of time they get all these bricks of this reunions of mediumship segments, and they build a little wall. But the first gust of wind or the first push, it falls over because there's no mortar. There's nothing holding it together. They're great individual readings, but the mortar is what the healing or the therapeutic reading is going to do. It's going to bring it all together, so it makes someone stronger so they can move forward, and that's where it's going to go. So I thought I'd just mention that because I'm really excited by that. Something very different. No one does that, so I thought I'd mention it. And if anyone's interested, just message me. But yes, I'm excited about that, and yeah, it's going to be a recreation, literally your recreation. So it won't be for everyone. If someone just wants to say, "Oh, there's Jessica there," let's say, "Hello, Jessica." Let's say Jessica just wants to hear from, I made this up, Jessica wants to hear from her best friend. Well, she wants a mediumship reading. She doesn't want to do the specialist thing I'm doing. But if she can't move on or can't deal with something from losing her best friend, then that's when the healing and the therapeutic work can kick in. Blimey, all a bit intense, spoke a bit fast, but you probably get a bit excited by that. A couple of hearts from Jessica. Well, hello, Jessica. You don't, Michelle, don't worry. If you can't turn your picture around, I can do that, can't I? That's fine. It all works out great. We'll get there in the end. We always get there in. Rich is a bit of a genius. He's fine. So I don't know, I was talking about that. So I shared my news. I'm quite excited about my news. If anyone's listening, I do a bit online every week on my Becs page. Rich is only on YouTube a lot. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what you'll be. And yes, it'll be that whole consequence of trying to get someone to. So someone's got to be ready to to go that their soul path in this physical experience will be very different to where they are physically and emotionally because of what's gone on in their life, their brain, their emotions have reacted to. And it's things that serve us when we were kids don't serve us now. And it could be, it happened to me very recently. I was doing one of my questions. There was abuse to this person when they were a child. Didn't need to get the parent to come through. It was literally hi Amelia, the parent had gone. I don't need to be here. They'd already worked at that forgiveness from other mediums. It was a case of, well, where do we now go with this person energetically and their spirit and the energy around their energy was sharing stuff. And I was saying, this is where you're at. and they're going, well, yeah, absolutely. And then, right, so yes, was it meaningful? Yes, their dad was there, but didn't partake in it because they'd already had the forgiveness and everything on. And it's, where do we move from here? What do they need to move on? And that's what I think it's going to be. So I think with the work that I'm going to be doing is there's going to be a lot of releasing over the period of weeks. So I think it's going to it'll probably need to like incorporate within the consultation. I don't want to call it a meeting sheet. No, it won't be a reading. It'll be a consultation, and within that will be booked a follow up. So I can speak to them maybe through. And again, this is all just formulating in my head now because it's all quite new, and no one in the world does it. As far as I know, no one in the world does it, and it's giving it to me to get it started. And I think it's exciting, and I think the potential for, because that's what Spirit love about us, and what Spirit want us to be aware of is so many times we get a measure and everything is based on the past. They loved this, they love that, you did, and that's important. When I work, I say, yeah, a lot of my work is the life lived. Who was they? Absolutely, Jessica. Then the life shared. What are the memories? What happened? And then the most important part is the life reunited, and now the fourth part, the life in the future, or the life coming up, or the life potential. That's what I want. The life potential together. So if you've got someone's dad, say, look, this is where you were with your dad. This is what happened. This is where you are both going now, because they see your potential. You've got to see them. It doesn't stop you missing them in the physical sense, but when you then go, yeah, they're here. They're here. They're part of my life. And it happened last night. I did a reading for a little family. A young boy had passed, and he just shared with his mum, and it was I said, just tell my mum every night it's me on the bed holding her hand. And she went, every night I go, she said, I can't believe it. She said, every night I hold his teddy bear, I put my hand out, I said, if it's you, hold my hand. And she said, every time I say that, I just fall straight to sleep. I went, well, there you go. And that was the healing part of what he wanted to share. Yes, he could have gone, oh yeah, this is my favorite color, it's my favorite color. He'd already done that. But what did mum need? Because he knew what mum needed. It can't take away the pain, but it just says, look, I'm here. And from there, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, Sarah. And that's why I think that's where my work's going to take me more and more on the therapeutic side of combining. I'm not talking about my shows. I'm talking about my individual readings. I'll still do the mediumship. I've got my waiting list for those, but I think this is going to be more specialised, and I think this is going to be. I haven't really spoken about this too much. I've spoken on my page. I haven't really spoken publicly about this for first time really. Yeah, and that's exactly it, Jessica. That they are very different, but they are very similar. You know, because they go, I've got your mum. Well, yeah, that's great, but what's that? What's the recipient's consciousness saying about this? And then how do we take the consciousness of the mum, the consciousness of the recipient, and go, okay, how do we come together and help their physical experience, which is what we're here for, this beautiful physical experience, to grow as well? Yeah, absolutely, Jessica. Totally agree with you. Yeah. Yeah. And that's exactly it, Jessica. Yeah. I'm glad you're on here this afternoon. Absolutely. And that's where it's going to go. And so for me, Desiree, yeah, no, I haven't. Well, I grew up wanting to chat to spirit people. But everything's the more you release, the more you become connected with spirit. It's like me where I'm at now, with what's coming up for me. You know, I'm a little bit nervous because these are new type of readings for me. I've done a few online, or what Spirit have done beautifully for me, Desiree, is they just started them happening. So what I'm getting to with you, have I connected with my life? We're all connected with Spirit. We're all connected with Spirit from the moment we're born because we are from Spirit. What stops us being connected with Spirit is our brains. Talk to a 3-year-old about Spirit, and they'll go, I get this. In fact, one of my closest friends, I don't know if she's watching this, I think one of my closest friends, her daughter started hugging trees. Oh, I'm like so frigging excited for this little girl who is now getting. And I said to her, do you feel them talk to you? Do you feel I feel so. I'm not sure she made it fit, but she went, yeah. I can see the excitement. That you got this little 6-year-old little bundle of joy going, yeah, I hugged a tree. They talk to me. Okay, yeah, of course they do. So I think what a lot of it is we lose that connection with Spirit. So it's not a question, are some people connected with Spirit? Everyone is connected with Spirit. Ask a 3-year-old about, let's talk about the granddad they never knew. And you go, how do you know that? Well, because they're connected with Spirit. They may not be able to explain it, but they know. And so, oh, thank you, Jessica. Bless your heart. Thank you. Oh, that's lovely of you. Thank you. I'm going to, because it is exciting, but it is very new, and there'll be those that won't get it. So, and again, when I had this reading done with my mentor, my fear was, who's going to want to hear about this? You know, who's going to be part of this sort of reading? But the guy that gave me the reading, he answered my question. He said, "This won't be for everyone." Well, there's nothing out there that did the. I mean, I still do the bricks. That, you know, I love my shows, so I'm doing one tonight. Can't wait to go back in public. I've missed it. It's only been a week, but you know, before the lockdown, I was out working 6 nights a week doing something. So I've really missed it. So, but I love that. But at the same token, spirit. Yeah, thanks, Sarah. But Spirit Night will be in charge, and it's a little charity night. And if people come along and they're drinking a glass of wine, I'm going to go, right, I've got your mum, and this all happened, and suddenly they're going to start to heal. It happened to me yesterday. Yesterday I did this little family. The young boy called his stepdad his big brother, and the guy was upstairs. We called him down. Said, "You're his big brother," and there's the healing starting, and that's ultimately spirit. Mediumship is healing. But I think it's just going to be so. I'm just trying to too much. But yeah, I think that's where it's going to go. So yeah. So going back to Desiree, I always want to be spiritual, but I always make a joke about wanting to be a mermaid when I was a kid, which is actually quite true. But for me, it's I try and share with people. Everyone is a medium because everyone is spiritual. Why? Because we all come from spirit. I'm not saying you want to be a working medium, but I try and encourage people just to find their own spirit, their own soul. And then from there, live their life being led by that or being guided by that, whether you call it intuition or spirit or soul, as opposed to that conscious mind that gets in the way all the time. And what makes people so angry. And again, part of my work is me saying, what triggers you? You know, I've done. I was talking to the lady a minute. I can't remember her name. She's gone, but I've done a lot of what's called the spirit medicine, the sacred soul medicine, or sacred spirit medicine. Makes you look things so different when you realise there's so much more than just this one. There you go, Jessica. There you go. Yeah, yummy energy. Love it, Jessica. Absolutely perfect. Yeah, yeah, and it is. And it's if we can, and again, I think it's a dichotomy occurring. Yeah, polarization, better word. Polarization happening, occurring, of the children. It's generational, but of those that of like Jessica's little 7-year-old getting very, and my friend whose little one was cutting trees and going, they talk to me, they make me feel better. I go, yeah, absolutely, Jess, thank you. Yes, yeah. So back to my water. So I was only waffling on because there's no other questions. Yeah, absolutely, Michelle. I'm sorry, I was going to give a quick mention this right at the end, but there's only a few of us here this afternoon, so I thought I'm actually here, so I just thought I'd mention it and chat to everyone to hear about it. But that for me is the way it's been taken, and I think the same with I think also as well. I think what I did a lot with my mediumship is you can go. There you go. Thank you, Beth. Thank you. I mean, I see a lot of mediums who I call, with respect to what I say, old school. They get up and they give the most amazing evidence, but it's always past evidence. Yeah, they were this, they were that, and I've seen it. So I've seen the most amazing evidence. I mean, you can't work without giving the validation. It's the person you love. Like, you know, the recipient's got to know it's them. You can't just go, your daddy loves you. It's got to be something there that you go, oh my God, I know it's my dad. But what I've seen time and time again is that reunions happen. That reunion between the dad and the son, the dad and the daughter, whatever it is, the mum and the daughter, say mum and daughter. The mum and daughter is happened. Energetically, the medium's done their job. They validate the mum. The daughter knows it's mum. Mum knows it's got thought, and there we go. And instead of getting out of the way and just letting the narration happen, the medium keeps on giving more and more information and evidence, which is fantastic, until after 10 minutes they go, thank you much for working with me, and then move on. So you've got the mum going, well, that's great, but I wanted to tell her I love her. What was it about? So I think for me, my mediumship in that respect, Stephen, is that you've got to validate it's there, but then what's the sharing about? What's the reunion about? Where's the healing? And that's my work as a medium. So I'm very different. Hi, Mr. and Mrs. B. That's where I'm different to a lot of other mediums. And I think it's where my one-to-ones are going to get different as well. So, you know, I know my way is not for everyone. I know it's not, because I know people will sometimes occasionally send me messages about what's been said about me, so I do know things are sometimes said about my work as a medium. So I'm sure my work in this new field in this new field of one-to-ones will get equally well received in certain circles. Don't give a fuck. Also, don't give a shit really. It's exactly, isn't it? That, Jessica? Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's connection with that heart, to have the consciousness to be free, to manifest. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Well, a roll this afternoon. Oh, oh. Right. I would never and have never broken anyone's heart ever, but I've had mine shattered. So, yeah, isn't it, Desiree? Yeah. And I think that's see, without getting too cliched, I think when you had your heart broken, it just shows how much you can love. It shows how much you can love. But what I would say is, for that heart to be so shattered, what control did they have any control over you? Only asking. I'm saying it was. And we all make attachments, and I'm just wondering if I think almost if sometimes you have a negative attachment going like that's mine, then saying they take it away. So it depends on what's, and also I'm not going down the road of narcissists and all things like that, but there are some people out there that will play you. Yeah, so you've got to be careful, my lovely Desiree. So Becs, will this help? Yes, absolutely, Beth. I think this therapy is, I'm going to call it a therapeutic consultation, but I'm not a therapist. It's not a physical thing. It's going to be spiritual. It's going to be like, okay, where are you? And it'll be spirit come support you, and it will be, and it's going to evolve, because I mean, this literally is so new to me. I was wanting to put out a little message yesterday. Had so much going on to have a chance, but I've got 2 or 3 people lined up that I've it's come out a little bit already in some of the readings I've done, Beth. But I've set up 2 or 3 readings over for next week a bit, where I'm going to do, the intention is just those readings, and I'll hone it and see what happens, what has to be, what to work. But I would think so, yes. But I won't be, I won't. They're going to be very. My initial feeling is, Beth, they're going to be quite draining on me. They shouldn't be, but I've got a feeling they might be, while I'm still learning to. I've also got to learn to navigate the energy, not just mine, but theirs, and the energetics of the energy itself. Remember, when we talk about the energy, we talk about spirit, but it's going to go past. I've got your mum, I've got your dad. They're going to be part of it, and it's going to go past going, you carry a lot of pain because of what happened to you when you were 7. It's going to be going a lot deeper, with the soul going, this is what we need to clear. This is what we need to clear. This is what we need to work on. And how do we help someone live in their own truth more? Well, thanks, Desiree. Yeah, someone. I always say I get in trouble for being brutally honest, but I'd rather be that. It's like if you put a question up, Desiree, about dreams, I'd go, I ain't got a clue. I have enough trouble working out my own dreams. I don't know anyone else's. I had the weirdest dream. So I woke up basically cuddling someone. It's like, oh, that's the weirdest dream. And I woke up, thought, what's a dream? So yeah. So hi, Christine, how you doing? So if anyone's got any questions, just have a chat. Thank you, Alison. I think it's I think a perfect start January, isn't it? It always goes. I'm trying to get it going for Christmas, but I think as it rolls out next year, I think it will work. And initially it'll be FaceTime. Yes, isn't it, Jessica? Yes, there will be. Yes, absolutely there will. Yeah. And I've got to be prepared for that as well, because I'm going to be witnessing the energetic movement. And Jess, you get the energy, so it's lovely chatting to you. Yeah, and Jessica, you're exactly right. Yes, I've got a friend of mine working with me on this, who's helped me, and I'm just trying to. And she's much more grounded than I am. And I'm going, look, I'm trying to say, treat me slowly. She goes, no, we can do it this. And I'm going like, no, but yeah, that's exactly it. It is exactly that. There will be a lot of shifts, the energy, and I think also, as Jessica said, I think this is only going to happen. This is only happening because the energy for the planet, and it's the right time for the planet. So I am excited. It's the first time I've ever put my head, my whole body above the precipice, and going, right, okay, this is something so new. And then will there be people copying it? I don't know. Who cares? But it's just something very new, and as you said, Sarah, I think it's quite exciting. But it will, because it's brand new, it will need me just to listen to spirit, listen to the energy of how it wants to take me and stuff. So yeah, it's going to be interesting times. And there's one very good friend of mine. It's all thanks to her, really. She's not here, so I can say it, but there's a very special friend of mine. She's been nagging me for weeks about this and months about just then. It was her that gave me the impetus to look at something different. So don't tell her I mentioned her. I won't mention her name because Sarah knows her, and she's not watching. So I think I'm quite safe. Anyway, thanks. Yeah, Jessica. And I'm sure Richard won't mind mentioning. If you want to find me, Jessica, it's Becs, BECS UK. just on Facebook. That's where I do all my stuff. And yeah, and he's going. I see Richard sitting there going, "What the hell's Becs about?" Because I haven't studied like this to Richard at all. But I might talk to Richard online. So yeah, right, Desiree. I'm so glad you finally said that, because that's the first word I got for you. I'm not giving you a reading, Desiree. I'm not doing readings, but you losing your heart to a narcissist was not your fault. So it's not a reading. I had a very good friend of mine, or she is, well, yeah, maybe a friend, who had not narcissism, but something like that. And they're attracted to empaths because they drain the energy. Remember, the reason why they're attracted to empaths is because they have none of their own empathy. Desiree, and you know, a narcissist, you getting your heart broken from a narcissist is not your fault. So you've got to own that. What you've gone through is not your fault in any way. Yeah, I'm not saying you've got to feel sorry for the guy or the lady, but you say he's not attracted to you anymore. Don't be surprised in a month's time he rings the doorbell. Tell him to do one, or her to do one, because as soon as you get involved with a narcissist, you really are screwed, because and you have to look at their childhood to see what they've come from. Oh, got a bit deep there. I'm not a counsellor, I'm not a therapist. I just read up a lot on narcissism and BPD, which is borderline personality disorder, because I had a friend who's, I think she's still a friend. Don't see her very often now. Hello, Kelly McKeating. That's nice, Kelly McKeating. Love that photograph. No. Right, Veronica, no. Right, okay, I'm getting very sorry. I was taught that way too. When I was first taught, when you make a contact, you get what I was always taught. You get the Fab Five, male, female, all this information. If you imagine, if you imagine when you're going to get connected, so you get in space, you get in your power. You imagine I meet you for the first time, Veronica. I won't start shouting, "What's your name? Where do you live? What do you do? What's your favourite colour?" I'd go, "Hello," and you'd say to me, "My best friend's sitting over there. I want to go talk to my best friend." You go, "Okay, that's nice." And I want to get to know you. What's it about your best friend you like? And that's how it should work. We get our brains out of the way and we let the spirit do their job. They know their job. So I'm not saying what you were taught was wrong. I was taught the same thing at the time, but it's, for me, it's we expand that. Yeah. And why they're there, let them, you haven't got to ask them. They're going to share that, because it might be you just put out that favourite. What was it I had once? Silly example. There was, I think it was the marshmallows, a pack of marshmallows, and someone just finished the marshmallows they always used to share. "You saved me the last marshmallow." And the woman goes, "Yeah, I have just done that now in memory." Well, there you go. So they know their job, Veronica. And our job's to get out of the way so they can frigging well do their job. And the more we can get out of the way as a medium, I assume you're a medium, the more they can do their job. Yeah, but the more we go, "What's your name, where'd you come from?" our brains get in the way. And like they were saying to them, well, eventually going to go like, "Well, what's it matter what shoe size I was or what colour car I drove? There's my son. I want to say he's come to a charity night. Like tonight, I'm doing a charity night. So there's possibly tonight at the charity night, there will be people that will never see me ever again, because they've come to support the charity, think my work's music's a load of rubbish." That's what Spirit will then do, is grab that one person. Why? Because it's their opportunity. I did a charity night before the lockdown, and there's a guy sitting there in a charity night, like arms crossed, looking really bored, legs wide akimbo. Spurs sports, he's wearing a Spurs shirt. And it was like, so bored. And I was bantering a bit with him. It was not rude, but bantering. He obviously thought it was like rubbish. And I started the second half. I went, "Who's Stephen Stan?" He went, "That's my dad and granddad." I went, "Both the other side?" He went, "Yes." "You're wearing the wrong effing football shirt." He said, "Well, yeah, they're West Ham fans." So all this stuff came out. And at the end of the reunion, he elbowed his wife and went, "You phoned Becs up and told all this crap, haven't you?" But so what I'm getting to is, this guy's dad and granddad knew exactly how to get the attention of the son stroke grandson. And exactly, we're setting we're setting this new way forward from a place of healing, an intention of healing. And it's not so much healing the soul. Remember, the soul, the soul inside is fine. It's experiencing everything that's happening in this physical experience. It's the physical pain that the soul wants to say to us, "Done. We've learned that lesson. We can let that go. How do we move on? The pain of missing someone we've lost physically is like, okay, I've got that grief. I'm comfortable with that grief of missing my mum. But then we've got to say, look, but your mum's here with you. And your mum's saying, here's our potential in our relationship. Now, where do we take this potential? What do we want to share together? And with that comes, and it's helping people let go of a way of life and they no longer need to follow. I mean, I did a night once when it wasn't actually the dad wasn't actually sitting there, but there was a car crash and 3 girls died, and I think it was a car crash, 3 girls. And one of the dads, it was 13 years old. One of the dads went to the cemetery every single day for 13 years. Now you can't tell me the daughter wants him to do that. So there's the thing. So actually, how does his soul and the daughter's soul, spirit, whatever you want to call it, help in the healing, so the physical mind, the psychological mind, the emotional mind can go, actually, I don't need to do that anymore. And that's where I think it's going to go to as well, Veronica. So yes, love your pattern on that. It's lovely. Anyway, what a chit chat time. So it's hi Sue, how you doing? Love your butterfly. And Cheryl, hi lovely, how you doing? Welcome to YouTube. I don't do anything on YouTube. I'm doing YouTube with Rich. Well, mate, Richard. I'm not allowed to call him Rich. So I'll call him Richard. So that was me waffling a little bit. Do you know anything about astrology? No. I do. I'm not going to mention the woman's name because I believe Richard's got a great astrologer here, which he shall mention. I've got a great astrologer I can recommend, an amazing one, but that's not my place. But if Richard's... Oh, okay. I can recommend a great astrologer, because Richard has said to me, I can recommend it. There's a lady called Jane Stars, and you're not sure who she is. Message me, I'll give you a thing on Facebook. She's truly, not actually a beautiful person. She's did me a reading recently, and it's like, and I've recommended people to them, and they've come back with nice, amazing like feedback. So there's a lady called Jane. Oh, yeah, well, I will do that now. Okay, Jane Stars. I will message her and tell her to get in touch with you. Because Jane is not only an amazing astrologer, she's a beautiful, beautiful soul, and she's lovely. And I will message her straight after the show, Rich, and just mention it to her so I don't forget. But yeah, it's Jane Stars, and I won't put the link because I can't find it. But it traced 11A. If you find me on Facebook, it's message me and I'll send you the link to Jane's Facebook page if you can't find it. But just say Becs because she's lovely. So I don't think I love astrology, Trace. I love it. But I'm you know, it's like saying, can I fly a plane? Well, no, I can. I'm poor joystick back, but my brother's a pilot. So you know, can I fly a plane? No. Do I know roughly how things work? Yeah, but can I fly one? Not a chance in heaven. But my brother, who, so that's the chasm between me and Jane. You know, I can hold a joystick and push a button, but I can't fly a plane. She's the pilot. You know, so that's my analogy, if you like, Chase. But yes, and I think Pam just said about she's got a guide who's a healer. Yeah, absolutely. I think we have guides who didn't. My first ever experience spiritually. I had to read that. Good job, I read that twice. That could have been very embarrassing for me. I read that twice, thankfully. My first spiritual experience. Yeah, and I think it's my imagination. I remember as a child being about 7 or 8, and I felt my bed. I must have been dreaming. I felt my bed pushed up to the ceiling, and I could not move. Couldn't move. It frightened the bejeebers out of me. I can only imagine it was sleep paralysis or something, because I can't remember the spirit doing that. But that's the one I remember. The big one before that I don't remember. Apparently, from the age of 2, 2.5, when I could talk, I had a best friend called Girl, and this little girl went, and I found out how extensive this was. No, how extensive this was before my mum passed. Because I knew I had a friend called Girl, and I thought she was around, but no, this friend of mine called Girl went everywhere from the age of 2.5 to when I started school. She was everywhere. She had to have something to eat. She came in the bedroom. She went out everywhere. It's Girl. So was she a spirit friend, or was it my female person? I don't know. But apparently I had a best friend called Girl from the age of 2.5 to the age of 4. So I don't remember her, but could it have been a spirit person? I've got a feeling I know who she is, but I don't know. But from the age of 2.5 to the age of 4, I had this spirit girl just with me all the time, apparently. But so the other one was when my bed got pushed up the ceiling, and I remember watching Doris Stokes a bit, going, I just want to do that. So a lot of my spiritual experiences were like, I just want to do that, but got nothing. Because my upbringing was slightly different, because obviously being trans, especially in the day and age I was brought up, I was so busy trying to hide who I was. I was so trying to avoid ridicule or being caught out or all that experiences of that, you know, God, you know, what if I'm caught? What, you know, look at this body. So I really negated I was always very spiritual, but it didn't really kick in properly. So I started learning tarot in my 20s. And so it wasn't really what I think it is. I think it comes along better when the time's right. And for me, as I went through my own physical and emotional transitions, along kind of the right tutors. But it's hindsight's wonderful. It really isn't about developing my membership. It's about me. And when I was ready, when I could get myself out of the way, and I was, you never totally come from your own skin. I'd like to look 20 years younger, you know, and I'd like, but on the whole, I'm quite happy, really, in my physical body most days. But and my emotions, I'm quite happy most days. But it's fine. But that's what I think it all comes together. And then it comes up, we talk about all afternoon, was about you find that place where you're being spirit led. Do I have a question? My guys seem like, oh, Beth, I'm a petulant bloody child with spirit. Do I have a question? I question it all the frigging time. It's like with this new readings going on, I'm going, like, me? Why me? Which brand? Yeah, but why have I got to be picked on? You know, but spirit know their job. And the classic example, Beth, I'll give you is my name. I think I've shared this before. I'm not so much now, so you can't. But I used to go to a lot to the place called the Arthur Finney College. I called it Hogwarts. And years ago, I think it might be before I started my first my proper transition. It must have been transitioning because I was going to go for my old name to Joe. Joe, it's really easy. And I'm walking around the grounds of the college, and they went, "Stop!" I went, "What? Got your name?" I went, "What do you mean you got my name?" I went, "It's Rebecca." I went, "Well, you can fuck off." See my phone. I was swearing again, Richard. Sorry. I went, "You can bugger off." I went, "No, it's Rebecca." I went, "I don't call myself Rebecca." So I'm having an argument with spirit. Was it my guide? I don't know. Could have been. Oh, I was so angry. I was like, "Shut up, Rebecca. What name's that?" In the end, they were so like, the polite word would be insistent. The other word wouldn't stop nagging. I went, "Okay, Rebecca. Okay." Well, obviously they knew it would be short to Becs because that's my working name. But when I looked up the meaning of Rebecca, the ancient, you go back right in the Hebrew way, it means bound to God, owned by spirit. And I thought, you clever buggers. So yeah, so it seemed logical at the time, and then it all makes sense. But remember, a lot of your guidance you get, Beth, will be from your own higher consciousness. Your higher consciousness is spirit. So if you ask for guidance, what you're saying is, brain, let me get out of the way. What do I know I should really do? It's like when I do tarot readings for people, it's a psychic reading. Most people, 99% of what comes out in people's readings, they know. So they don't, you know, someone you doesn't know and goes, whoa. I hope that made sense. Cheryl Flynn, hello, Cheryl. You sit in the panel close. How can I ask? What questions do you ask? If you ask the lottery numbers, you're probably pretty unlikely. You know, was it £175 million last night? I think, wasn't it? I thought to myself, oh, where was I? Yeah, I was getting my nails done, and I thought, oh, it's on Tuesday. I couldn't get the app to work. I'm not saying I would have won, but it's like, no, don't bother, because they're going to let me win, are they? You know, if I won £175 million, I love you lot so much. I love my job, but would my head get turned for £175 million? Oh, there's a boat with my name on it in the Caribbean, and then oh yeah, I was carrying doing what I'm doing, but you know, it's like, I can't really without you. So what I'm getting is what questions are you asking? And then what questions are you thinking? If you're waiting for them to talk to you, they don't. I always say spirit can't talk to us. They haven't got a voice box. So the communication has got to be different. It can't be like a chat to Rich before I came online. It can't be that because they haven't got a voice box. So it's got to be something different. With me, Cheryl, it's clairsentience. I sense them and I just trust it and I just talk quite a lot. It's them talking. Sometimes people get clairaudience, and they get a voice in their head, but that's not that can't be their real voice because they haven't got a voice box. If you look at things what's called EVP, which is voice projection, you get voice in the ether, but it's not like, it doesn't always sound like a normal voice. So it can't be. There's no voice box involved. But if you're asking a question, get nothing. Are you feeling the answers? I remember sitting in the panel, it's about getting out of the way. It's like any relationship, it builds up over time. Yeah. Well, right. Okay. Instead of asking who are you, how's your past, just feel them and go, hello, who are you? And get to know them. Just get to know them and feel their energy. And then go, oh, because if you ask them, how's your past, and you're sitting there waiting for the answer, it's there. It's that you're so fixated. Why are you fixated on who are you, how'd you pass? You might miss that they go, Oh, I love that blue shirt my friend's got on. That's the vibe. So, Joe, it is about, and the more the more, and it's very nuanced. It's very subtle. Yeah. So if I'm working, I'll go, that's your mum. Hey, that's your mum. Or when I go, if I go like, it's like your mum. It's not your mum. Oh, she's like your mum. It's not your nan. It's not your stepmom. Oh, it's, and then it becomes, oh, it happened the other night. It's the godmother. Well, I quite missed it, but it wasn't mum. So the more you do it, Joe, the more you do the work, or you sit in the power, or you get to know them, the more the subtlety just flows. You go, I know I've got your dad, but it's your stepdad. Why? Because you just know. Because it's that blending. There's that clear knowing, that clear sentience. Yeah. And someone asked about, ask them all these questions. Well, the other night when I did this little boy who passed, everyone knows how he passed. He didn't show me how he passed. He didn't need to. Because remember, my view, they know how they want to reunite with their loved ones. They know. They know it's going to be a message to be passed on. They know it's the person sitting in front is. The other night, I think it was online here, I don't know if it was here on Monday night, where the guy come through, been gone less than 24 hours. And he spoke about his pulling time. The girl in front was like a soulmate, but wasn't his partner, but they were loving each other. She got a life partner. And he made a joke about his bits and pieces being bigger now. He was always joking about that. So I try and get out of the way for them. That's what I try and do. So there you go, Cheryl. Hope that helped a little bit. Yeah. Right, Beth, how I work when I'm working mediumistically, I don't tend to get symbols or words, but occasionally I do. If I'm doing psychic work, I get lots of pictures and symbols and stuff coming in my mind, because my mind is involved, because I'm working with someone in front of me who's also incarnate, physical, if you like. Not quite sure how the new work's going to go, because I did something this afternoon and I went, oh, that's a spirit problem. It wasn't. So that's good. I'm going to work through that. That will probably mix of both, won't it? I guess. Don't know yet. But occasionally I'll get things and go, oh, because remember, the brain always still tries to process stuff. So if I've got something from spirit, and in that instant, remember, the spirit moves instantly. So the brain's trying to make sense of something, and in that moment, and remember, the brain works fast as well, but not as fast as spirit. The brain goes, oh, that must mean that. And I go, I don't understand. All I'm feeling is this. And then I say something. I don't understand. Does this bit make any help? Make any sense? Because I can't understand it, because my brain's got in the way. It just does sometimes. You can't do it. For me, I can't do a 2-hour dem or 2 hours in front of people, and not at some point my brain gets in the way. It will. Yeah. If you get thoughts in your head, that's it. If you've quietened your mind down and you're out of the way, and a new thought pops in your head, guess what? It's not you. Yeah. That's clairsentience. It's a sensing. So then it becomes a knowing. It's like, oh, hello, I get a feeling. Oh, hello. Oh, and then you can say, how do you make me feel? Oh, I like you. Why? Well, why do you like him? I just know I like you. And then why do I? Oh my God, I love the way you cuddle that left hand of yours around someone's shoulder. Boom. So, Cheryl, you're very, very, very welcome. Check your lottery ticket. You won £2.90. I expect half of that in the post, Veronica, please. I expect £1.45 on its way to me right now. That won't buy me a cup of coffee now, will it? Didn't win a thing. Well, I'm sorry, folks. What can I tell you? Don't ask me about the lottery. I know nothing. I don't even won it last night. Did I win it last night? Don't know. Well, with Richard's permission, we're going to finish now, because I've got an early start tonight. So we'll do just an hour today. A full night today is Christmas, is Boxing Day. So I don't think we're anything Boxing Day. Well, I won't be a Boxing Day. I shall be under a table somewhere. That sounds really weird. I expect my sister's enjoying Boxing Day lunch tonight, this time in 2 weeks' time. Probably 3:30. Yes, probably a little bit too much wine, maybe. So may I say, whoever's watching, have a fantastic Christmas. Be kind to yourselves, whatever you're doing, whatever the tier laws are, wherever you are in the country or in the world. And to Richard, I'm going to say thank you for this year. He's had a tough time lately, Richard. So you're watching this and you're staying with Richard. Thank you, because he's had a tough old time with Facebook being a complete bitch, really. And he's having to rebuild almost from scratch from YouTube. So. And he's doing it for spirit, because he does it for nothing, does young Rich. So I'm going to say thank you to Richard for everything he's done during the year, for me as well, having me on every fortnight. So Rich, have a great Christmas, and we will see. I will see you guys some point on a Saturday in the new year for more Q&A and chit chat. And what I love, it's just been a few of us having a little chat over a cup of coffee, really. So it's been lovely. So I'm going to get ready now, because I've got an early start tonight. Thank you so much, Sue. You're so welcome. Lovely to chat to you, Sue. And Anyone else that's been here? Virtual hug. Oh, Beth, big hug right back at you. Big hug back at you, love. And Julie, Merry Christmas to you as well, my darling. And I know it's still a couple of weeks away, but ha. Oh, Jessica, I love your energy, Jess. I don't know where in the world you are. I don't know where you live, but because I can't. So it's lovely because it looks really sunny. I was talking to two kids in Las Vegas yesterday as well. Last night, to two children in Las Vegas. Which went Father Christmas. So thanks, Sarah. Yes, I'm just not far from my live tonight. Just a little charity night, and then tomorrow night is Sarah's Max Bar because they can do that now because they do city ticket events. Oh, the law here. The law in this country is crazy. If you're in a different country, the law here is a different world. Yes, Michelle, thank you. And I do that, and you've got a lovely photograph. So with that, everybody, stay safe, and I will see you in the new year. And again, once more to Richard, thank you, Mr. and Mrs. B. Merry Christmas. Richard, thank you for everything you've done for Spirit and for me. And I'm sure next year will just explode on YouTube, won't it? It's going to be brilliant. So with that, everyone, namaste. I see you, and I don't know if I'm going to get faded out now, what's going to happen, but I will talk to you. Oh, thank you, lovely. Bless you. And I'll say goodbye and see you all soon. And I'm going to get faded out now. So take care, everybody. Bye now.